Welcome, everybody, to episode 112 of Disney with the Ducks. Tonight, you've got me, John Kroll, and I'm joined by two ducks and a special guest. So, Jody, we've got Jody here tonight.
Hi, friends.
We've got Gene.
Hi, how are y'all?
We're doing good, Gene. We get to hang out with you tonight, so can't be worse. Can't be better.
I'm just happy to be
All
here,
right.
John. Just happy to be
Me
here.
too, man. And then we've got our special guest, Dee.
Hi, everybody.
Yay!
So we're gonna do a fun question to get to know each other first. But before we do that, I really would like everyone to just go out, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or I don't know the other podcast catchers, but any of those, you can go to any of them and give us a 5-star review, or all of them, which would be preferable. But then also share the show with your friends and come over and join us on our Facebook group, Disney with the Ducks. All right, so tonight, it's springtime. I mean, today it doesn't feel like it in Michigan because right now it's 36 degrees outside on April 24th.
Wow.
Yeah, so it doesn't feel like spring, but it is. So we want to know, what's your favorite spring flower? So, Gene, let's go with you first. What are you thinking?
So I'm gonna get this wrong. Mandevilla. So it's something I discovered last year. They're everywhere. Like you walk in a Home Depot or any of the grocery stores, whatever. There's a thriller, a spiller, and a
Chiller, right?
filler. It's thriller is like the main thing, like a Hawaiian tea, and a filler is like the mandevilla, and then a spiller is some kind of maybe ivy or something. Grow, I watch some TikToks, but mandevilla is it grows viney. You can grow it up a trellis if you want to. They're really pretty. They're tropical flowers. I like them, in my backyard.
That's awesome.
That's
I do
it.
the same thing I have two little planter box things off my deck, and
Mhm.
like to do the thriller, the chiller, and the spiller. It looks cool, Okay. Jody, what's your favorite spring flower?
I love when my Judy viburnum blossom. They smell fantastic. My lilacs are blooming right now, which are also one of my favorites. But I'm going to have to go with the lily of the valleys because they came from my grandmother's house. And then they went from my grandmother's house, and then they went to my mom's house, and then from my mom's house to my house. So they've now made it 3 generations. I haven't killed them.
Wow.
So they have been to all 3 of our houses. So they don't last very long. They are very strong perfume smelling. They're very, but they're just special to me because of their lineage. So I'm going with Lily Valleys.
That's awesome. That's so cool that they have a story behind them.
Yeah, and they don't they don't stay. They're definitely spring. They just come up for a little bit and then they're gone. But
Nice.
I like it.
All right. And Dee, what about you? What's your favorite spring flower?
So for sentimental reasons, I would say the iris. I like that. That was, again, kind of similar to Jody, like my grandmother's favorite, and it's kind of been passed down. But I love tulips. They're my favorite.
Yeah.
Now, did the deer eat the tulips by you guys, or is that only a problem here in Ohio?
I don't know. We don't have many. I mean, we have like 10 acres here, but we don't have many deer. I don't know. I haven't experienced that, but
They mow down the tulips around here. So you'll see them for like a day, and then the deer will come and eat all the tops of them.
oh my goodness.
It must be a great spring treat for the deer too.
Oh,
So.
they
They
look
like-
delicious.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a colorful macaron or something. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. My favorite is the peony. Because I like the word, it makes me giggle. But also, I think they're just beautiful flowers. It's like a nice big ball. They start like real small, and then like ants actually eat the whatever's on the outside of them. It's like some sugary syrup type thing, and the ants eating it causes it to open up, and they get really huge and puffy, and they're just really cool. But they get too heavy for the plant, so you got to make sure you cut them and then bring them in the house, and then they look pretty in the house, so it's nice. But yeah, I love peonies. I think they're just they remind me of spring more than any other flower. All right. Well, tonight, the reason we have Dion is because Dee and I traveled down to Walt Disney World last weekend. this past weekend, actually, to run the 10 miler of the Hakuna Matata 10 miler of the Springtime Surprise weekend at Walt Disney World.
And
So
I
yeah,
am
we traveled. Oh,
so
go ahead.
excited to hear all about it.
Jody, it was an amazing trip. It was really cool because so Dee brings like a unique perspective because she hasn't been to Disney World. I forget, what'd you say, since like 1997?
Like, yeah, something like that. 98, somewhere around there. It's been a while. It's been
Yeah.
The year
John,
of our Lord, 1997.
I thought you said 87 in
No.
the text message instead of 97.
Oh, no.
I was like 87. Oh my gosh, but 97 is still a long time. But
Yeah.
No, in the text I might have said 87. It depends at what point of the trip I sent that. Because there, as we were texting back and forth during our stay, there was a lot of good wine that we drank. So
it was.
we'll get into that. But yeah, so that's what we're here to talk about, is our trip and just how much fun we had and how awesome of a race weekend it was.
so when did you guys head down there? You went down. So for those of you who don't know, Springtime Surprise is a not as long as a race series as Marathon Weekend. It is 3 races, which is also standard for Princess Race Weekend and Wine and Dine Race Weekend. So it is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday race. And you all participated in one of the 3. Is that correct?
Yeah. We participated in the 10-mile race, which was on Sunday.
On Sunday. Okay. So you didn't have to get there then on Thursday to go to the expo like the rest of the crazy people. You could show up later. So what day did you fly in, and what was your first day like?
Yeah, so we flew in on Friday morning. We left really, really early. I think we left for the airport at what, 3:30 or something?
Yeah, it was crazy
Oh,
early.
that's early.
Yeah, but it was nice though because we got to take advantage of pretty much most of the day. Anyways, once we got there, we landed and got into Orlando. I think at about 11:45. Was it?
No, we landed at 9:30. We got to remember, because we were going to, so the expo, tip
Oh,
for everyone, I
Yep.
thought the expo would be open when we landed at 9:30, and I was like, oh, we'll be there around 10:15 or so. It's perfect. It didn't open till noon. So
Yeah. The
we
second
were,
day of the expo always opens much later. Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry, I
and
could have told you that. I'm so sorry.
I've done this a few times. It's not like this is my first Run Disney event, so I should have checked the time because I was all excited. We get in the Uber and we're heading to the expo, and that's when I decide, oh, let's see what time this thing really gets going.
So
yeah.
you were at the airport, you were in the Uber. Were you able to pivot while you were in the Uber, or was the Uber driver
Well,
how did that
luckily he doesn't pay attention to anything other than what's on his Uber app. So I asked him, and he said no, he can't change. He doesn't speak English. But then every time we stopped at one of the toll booths or coming into the hotel, the security spoke perfect English. But luckily, I changed. Jeff told me to change it on the app, and I tried that and it didn't work. So I tried it again, and it did go through. And all of a sudden, you hear it go ding ding, and he's like, "Ooh," and he just kind of looked, and he drove us to the hotel we were going to.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
It worked out well.
Yeah. It was one of the many things that went right for us on this trip. It was a lot of stuff, starting with that really just went well. So yeah, we got to Pop Century at about 10:30 or so, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was earlier than what I had said originally. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, so then because we were just gonna grab something to eat or whatever and figure things out and then go to the expo. But we decided we were gonna check and just see what reservations were available, and there happened to be one at Topolino's. So we got to get an 11:30 a.m. reservation just completely out of the blue last minute at Topolino's Terrace, which was amazing, and it was just so good. But the best part was we showed up for our 11:30 one. We got there at like 10:45 because we dropped our bags at Pop, hit the Skyliner, and got to Topolino's Terrace and asked them if they could seat us. And she was like, "Yeah, we can get you in a few minutes." As soon as we sat down on the bench, we got a text that our table was ready.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I want to get your thoughts on what, we took the Skyliner and then getting to Riviera and going to that restaurant for brunch. What were your thoughts on that as someone who hadn't experienced it before?
That was amazing. I mean, I don't even remember. I don't think the Skyliner was even there the last time that I was there. I think
No.
it was the monorail. Um, so that was very awesome. It was cool having the different characters on the different cars, and you can feel the air going through and stuff. It was just really cool. It was a very neat experience. It was a lot of fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
did you play Skyliner karaoke?
No,
No.
I actually forgot about that. You talked about that before.
Yeah.
Is this-
Ah,
Next time, something to do.
you sing the song of the car that's going by you character,
Yes,
right, Jody?
yes. That's what my family plays.
That would have been right up our alley
I
too.
mean,
With
Gene,
how
what would you call us? Disney dorks? Is that what you call us?
Disney nerds.
Oh, Disney nerds. Okay,
Disney
yeah,
nerds.
that's my gamer tag on PlayStation.
All
No,
right,
I'm
so
not kidding. It
what are-
actually is.
So you drop your bags, you get on the Skyliner, you have this magic reservation that just shows up out of nowhere. You go to Topolino's, they seat you early. I mean, you guys are like living life.
Right?
La Vida Loca for sure.
Yeah, the only thing that was a little bit off was Donald was very upset with John's shirt because he was wearing a Mickey Mouse shirt. It did not have Donald Duck on it.
But
So
did you have your hat, your Disney with the Ducks hat?
I don't think you did that first day. You?
No, not that day. Cause I didn't. It was still in my bag that was dropped at Pop. But no, yeah, Donald yelled at me. He shook his finger angrily, and then listen to what this guy does. What?
He shook his tail feathers at you even.
Right.
Oh.
He got right up in my face, shaking his booty.
He sure did.
I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
Donald.
Yeah.
Donald can be kind of salty sometimes.
Yeah.
He is number one, and if you don't agree with that, he's going to let you know.
hmm
Mm.
So yeah, so that part, yeah, that was a little bit traumatic. I should have asked for my meal to be comped, but our server was amazing, and I think we had, I had the steak and eggs. I think you did too, right?
Yes. Yeah. That was the first time I ever had steak and eggs. Amazing.
It was
Delicious.
so good, Jody. I don't even know what kind of cut of meat this was or anything, but it was delicious.
So I have a question for you, John, since you are
Yeah.
gluten-free, because they typically bring you a basket of pastries to enjoy with your breakfast.
Yeah.
How did that work with you?
So they brought out a separate gluten-free basket of pastries. So there was like a couple of donuts. There was a chocolate glazed one. There was a like the cinnamon powder sugar type thing one. They had a couple of different cupcakes, and yeah, it was, or not cupcakes, muffins,
Like
whatever, same thing. One has frosting, one
thing.
doesn't. They're the exact same thing. You can dress up a cupcake and say it's a little healthier without the frosting, I guess, and call it a muffin, but no, that's, come on. So yeah, so no, they brought out a whole separate thing for me. They were basically able to make almost anything on the menu gluten-free, but it's a price fix menu or whatever that's called. So I'm like, I'm not coming here when you're paying the same. I'm not going to get like the veggie omelet. No, I'm going to get the steak and eggs.
Smart man.
Yeah.
Smart man.
So that worked out awesome. And then we got a text that our room was ready.
Wow.
So that worked out great. So we were able to go to the expo, get our stuff, and then get back to the hotel and get ready for heading out to the parks.
You left from the Riviera to go to the expo?
Yeah, we took the resort buses.
Okay, awesome. And that
Yeah.
worked out fine. No problems there.
Oh, it was perfect. Oh, so this is yet another one of the things in the chain of event that went right. As we were walking up, there was one other couple getting on the bus. We got on the bus and it left for the expo.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So for those of you who have never done a Run Disney event before, every single Disney resort has buses throughout the entire race weekend that will take you to and from the expo. So I don't know if you heard us talking that most people were at the expo on Thursday because the first races started on Friday, but John and Dee didn't go to the expo until Friday, but nothing to worry about. The Run Disney bus will still take you to the expo and from the expo to and from your resort. They will not take you from the parks to the expo. You have to go from a resort to the expo, but that does run whenever the expo is open, which is mainly the first 2 or 3 days. It's not typically open on the last race day. So nothing to worry about there if you're coming in later. If you forgot something, you want to go back to the expo, do a little shopping. If it was too crazy the first day, you can always go back, and that there's a bus from each and every single Disney resort.
And that's the one thing I will say too is I've heard horror stories about the merchandise area, and I've never been to one of the races right when the expo opened, because I typically only run one race per weekend. But when we were there, it wasn't overly busy, and this was Friday afternoon at around noon or 1. So obviously, if you were running the full challenge, you had already got your stuff. But it was great. I mean, we got in and out of there very quickly. The merchandise area didn't seem to be sold out of anything. They had all the different race shirts. They had a bunch of different like new Run Disney merchandise, like new design I had never seen before. So that was cool. Yeah, so it didn't really seem like they had ran out of anything.
That's great.
They had plenty of Spirit jerseys.
There actually was a ton of Spirit jerseys, Gene. I almost bought all of them to put on YouTube or eBay. Yeah.
Or YouTube.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So, Dee, I have a question for you. Since this was your first Run Disney experience, what did you think about the scope and scale of everything? Because it is a little different than your local 10K or 10 miler. You got to go to the first building for your bibs, and the second building for the vendor, and the third building for the merchandise. What did you think of the whole setup and the expo?
It was awesome. I mean, they definitely have their stuff together. It was like so organized and so just like spot on. And I mean, even like John was saying, like there, as far as the merchandise and stuff like that, they have the mobile checkout, so that makes that go like really smoothly. You can just do it all right on your phone, and then you show somebody as you're walking out, kind of thing. And it was really smooth, but everything was just really impressive, and they definitely know what they're doing. It was a well-oiled machine for sure.
Great.
Yeah. And they maximize taking your money, right? Because they get you all excited with the bib and then the race shirt, and then they put you in the merchandise area.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're not yeah.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Get their stuff together.
What does Lonnie always say? It's Mickey's money anyway. So.
Yeah. Yep. I don't even know why I have my own account with Chase. I should just have it with Disney, and they can just, give me a little bit out of that.
Oh, boy. Just let me hold it for a little while.
Yeah. But yeah, no, and then after the expo, it was still early, and we had a reservation at California Grill that we were able to get kind of out of the blue a few weeks ago for 5:30. So, we were in that weird time where you don't really have enough time to go to a park, and we didn't want to get like sweaty and gross before going to California Grill. So we just went in the pool for a little bit and hung out there. The water was 85 degrees and the air was 90 degrees, so it was perfect.
A little different than the temperature you have today.
Right. And it's update. It's now down to 35 degrees in the Detroit area.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wonderful. We're so happy to be home. But that, I think going in the pool and stuff and just kind of chilling out was great. And then we got dressed and we headed over to the Contemporary for our California Grill reservation.
And how did you get to the Contemporary from Pop?
We took an Uber or a Lyft, one of the two. It was a ride share.
Okay. So again, just for people who may not know, when you're going from resort to resort, there's not a bus that does that. So you could have gone from Pop to Magic Kingdom and walked from Magic Kingdom over to the Contemporary, or you could have gone to one of the other monorail resorts and taken the monorail around. You could have gone to Magic Kingdom and taken the monorail around, but you can't just go from Pop Century to the Contemporary. You would either have to go to a park and then transfer, or take a Lyft or Uber.
Yep. And actually, I screwed that up. We went to the Polynesian first because we somebody in this little group of ours has never had a Lapu Lapu. So I figured, what better time to have your first Lapu Lapu than the same weekend as your first Run Disney experience? Right. Plus, it's been 13 months since I've had a Lapu Lapu. So I was kind of like raring to go, right?
You're jonesing?
Yeah, I was jonesing for a Lapu Lapu.
Hey, we went over there. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No,
go ahead.
This is a tangent, obviously, of course, and that's what I do.
Right.
Right. So you said, for those of you, you explained Transpo, right, Jody? I'm curious, you guys, what you think. Our listeners, what do you think they're made up? Do you think they're made up of people like maybe Dee, who hasn't been since 1998? Not picking on you, Dee. It's just, or me, which is kind of the next step up, who I've been more recently, but I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm just going where Lonnie tells me to go, right? And I don't know the answers to Disney, trivia questions or anything like that. Or people on the other end of the spectrum, like you and Jody and Lonnie, who you say, well, what about this? Like, oh, no, that's over here in Adventureland and the corner of this. I don't know, I'm just curious. What do you think our listeners, where do you think they fall in that range?
I think they fall more towards the expert end. I mean, really, like if you're listening to a Disney podcast, you're probably just reinforcing your love for Disney.
Do
right?
you listen to a lot of Disney podcasts?
No, not until I met this fella.
I don't either.
I have that effect on people,
Yeah.
That's why we have such a great listener fan base. People
Hey,
are
thanks
just
for
magnetically attracted.
Entertaining me with the answers to those questions. I'm just curious what y'all's thoughts were about that. Okay, proceed.
No. Okay, so we took the Uber to the Polynesian. So we went into Poly and we checked Trader Sam's. Because it was like 3:45, right? I knew it had been open for a little bit. So I'm like, well, maybe it has a wait. Maybe we'll get lucky and whatever. So we go in there and there's nobody in line. Like, holy moly, maybe the magical is just like continuing for the day. We asked Leigh, she's like, oh no, our wait list is closed. We might open the wait list back up in a couple of hours.
Oh,
so yeah,
that's a big wait list.
Yeah.
So then which was fine, right? So then we went upstairs to Tambu Lounge. D, tell us how amazing that beverage was.
Oh my God, it was like heaven. It was so amazing. It was so good. Yeah.
Dee, I just want to know, did you hold it up like the Lion King, like we did for John? We held it up and had a little moment and
No, I did take I took a photo of it though, and I took the top off, took a photo of the inside. It was just amazing. It was so good. And then I think that we need to have one of those, like create that sometime or sometime soon this summer, because it was just delicious.
Yeah, that's definitely a summer beverage, I think.
Yep. So from there, then we took the monorail over to Grand Floridian, and we went to the Enchanted Rose lounge or bar because Dee loves Beauty and the Beast, and I love fancy beverages. So you put those two together, and that's what you get at Enchanted Rose. Our server was awesome. He was just super cool, like knew the menu really well, recommended some good stuff. And I ended up with a lavender fog, which was a dry gin, a cream liqueur, a English breakfast tea, vanilla, and cream. And it was very frothy. It almost looked like a milkshake or something. But it was really light to drink too. It was just amazing. One of the best drinks I've had.
Which room did you get to sit in? Because there's so many cool things for Beauty and the Beast in there.
So this is another part of the Disney magic I feel for this day. There was only one table available when we got there out of all the rooms, and it was along a window. If you're at where the bar comes out as like a peninsula, if you just followed that angle straight out, it was a table like right there against that window. Just a table for two, and just happened to be available right when we walked up.
You guys were just
and
floating in the magic.
Yeah, and Dee, you got the seasonal old fashioned, right?
Yeah, and that was so good. That was yeah.
The drinks there were so cool. Like I could have stayed there if we had time for another couple of hours and just enjoyed the ambiance and that type of thing. So from there, now we took the monorail and now we went over to the Contemporary. And we couldn't figure out where to check in. I've never been to California Grill. Turns out the elevator wouldn't go to the 15th floor because you have to go to the second floor to check in for the restaurant that's on the 15th floor. And so finally, after like 10 minutes of starting to get frustrated, I asked somebody and they're like, oh yeah, go to the second floor to the check-in. Like, okay, that makes sense. But just for the listeners, so you don't wander around the Contemporary for an hour, you got to check in on the second floor. So check-in went smooth though. They were able to get us up there pretty quickly after we checked in, and we got a table. The bummer was our table was not along the windows that looked out over to like Magic Kingdom and stuff. It looked the other direction, and they had the shades down because it was late afternoon and the sun was really coming in from the angle it was setting. So other than that though, honestly, this was one of the best meals I've ever had in my life.
So what did you guys get? So are they still doing the prefix menu?
Yeah, which was perfect because I probably wouldn't have got all those things. But yeah, so we did the wine pairing, which Jody, you saved me a little bit of money, but cost me a ton of money because we were gonna get the deluxe
Blame this
wine
on
pairing.
me. I'm not taking
No,
a
this is
blame
your
for
fault.
this.
So we were gonna get the deluxe wine pairing, which I think at the time we went was $72, right? But I sent Jody kind of some of the wines that were on each of the deluxe and then the lower level list, and you were basically like the nickel and nickel is you have to get that one. So we saved money and got the wine pairing, and honestly, like that was probably my first or second favorite wine I've ever had in my life. And when our server Jose was pouring it for me, Dee and I were like, "Oh yeah, this is," because he's like, "This bottle right here just covers your whole wine tasting cost." He's like, "So this is like the signature bottle. It's only available in the state of Florida at this restaurant." And I was like, "Oh yeah, actually, I was talking to my friend, and the whole reason we got this version instead of the other version was because of that bottle." And he was like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we just like," she texted me back right away and he's like, "Okay." And then he poured us each a little bit more, which was, I thought, super cool. He's like, "If this is what you're here for, then I'll give you a little bit extra."
That's
So
awesome.
that was nice. Yeah.
All right. So Dee, what did you get? Because that's a prefix meal. What did you get for your appetizer?
Oh my goodness, what did I get? I don't remember what I got.
Something with pumpkin ricotta, pumpkin
Oh, it was
something with goat cheese.
yeah, ravioli, and that was
Mm.
so like one big ravioli, and it was delicious. It was some kind of pumpkin sauce on the top or whatever, and it was a cheese ravioli, and it was delicious.
Okay. I was just saying I was not hungry at all, but that I could go for right now.
I was looking at it's funny that you said that because I'm not like a big pumpkin person. I'm not in the fall and things like that. I don't like pumpkin pie. I don't like things like that. But it it hit. It was good. It was very delicious.
Awesome. So John, obviously you did not eat the pumpkin ravioli unless they made you a
No.
gluten-free one. What did you have?
I got a sushi roll. They were able to make the surf and turf one gluten free with crab salad and then like a piece of meat on top. So that was excellent. So yeah, very happy with that decision.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then, so in that you get an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So what did you guys get for your main course?
I think I got the filet and mashed potatoes.
Yeah. I had the same.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really good. That that was it was tied for my favorite meal, I think, between that one and
And is that where you had is that where they paired the Camus with that or no?
No, we didn't have Camus. That was the nickel and nickel.
Oh, nickel. Okay.
So
Got it.
yeah, so this was the whole reason we got that particular tasting because of this, the nickel and nickel wine that you said was great, and you were right, it was absolutely amazing. We were at the table googling where we could buy that version of or whatever. I don't know what the wine term is, but that year and that
Varietal.
vineyard and everything else, yeah, varietal. And turns
They were able
out
to
you
do
can't
those
find
mashed
that
potatoes.
exactly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
They were
no,
able
the
to do
mashed
those mashed
potatoes were good.
potatoes gluten free for you.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
they do an amazing job. It's just like they can't put gravy on it or that type of thing. But the wine was amazing. Obviously, the meat I thought was cooked perfectly, and it came out like almost like blackened on top. And I like that if it's done
That
right. But
nice
like,
crust, huh?
yeah,
Oh,
but
that's
a
the
lot of
best.
places when you see that, then it's overcooked in the middle.
The best
This
places do
was
that crust, but the middle's perfect. That's awesome.
yes, Gene. That is what this was, and now my mouth is already
I mean,
watering again.
you
thinking
can talk
about
about Topolinos and whatever. I don't know, but you talk about a steak, man. I mean, you're speaking my language right there, and that's my love
Yeah.
language. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's mine too. It was so good. So good.
Yeah.
And then dessert time. Oh, did we just lost you?
Me?
Oh, now you're back. Okay.
Okay.
Dessert, I think, is that where I got the chocolate cake, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was amazing. Like I could not even it was just this tiny little slice of cake, but it had like the chocolate ganache and then like some gold on top, and it was so rich and just perfect. It was delicious.
Awesome.
Yes.
Perfect way to end a meal.
Excellent. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
And
And the
so,
wine pairing the dessert was a little bit on the sweet side for me, but it was still really good. Like it mixed well with like I had a peanut butter chocolate tort thing that they were able to do gluten free. But the wine I didn't like it at first, but when I had it with the dessert, I mean I was like, oh,
Is it a port or a
it
sherry?
wasn't a port.
Okay.
No, it wasn't a sherry. There was something else, but it was much
Tawny.
sweeter than what I would normally drink.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, that sounds like it was an amazing meal,
it was fun.
but I don't think your evening was finished yet, was it?
No, we had an action-packed evening coming up. So we went over to Magic Kingdom and we went immediately to Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor because who doesn't do that ride first at Magic Kingdom? I mean, and it's right up my alley. It's all corny jokes and just goofballness. And we got on camera, for making monster faces. These people make monster faces, so we had to like move.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Make all kind of fun faces, which was I enjoyed it. So we were laughing before it even started.
Good.
But then after that, we got to ride Tron. So we got an individual lightning lane for Tron, and this was it was already dark out. So we were walking off the ride when the Happily Ever After fireworks started.
Hmm.
What was that,
I
Jody?
just said that's not a bad place to watch the fireworks from the Tron area. So
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, so that was fun. And then we headed over to Ariel. So we did Under the Sea, the little clamshell, and it's super cute.
Very
I
nice.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we finished. Oh,
D,
go ahead.
both those are new from when you were there last time. Tron wasn't, well, Monsters Inc. Laugh 4 was there, but Tron and Ariel Under the Sea were because that's a new fantasy land. Both those would have been new. So what did you think about both those?
Those were awesome. Tron was probably definitely my favorite ride. I think out of all of the parks that we went to and all the rides that we went on. That was really cool, especially experiencing it at night with the lights and stuff like that. It was really cool. And then the Ariel was it was cute. It was definitely cute. So it was nice to kind of go on like a more relaxed, just kind of go with the flow right after a Tron. Like
And all that food. I don't know if I could do Tron after a 3-course meal at Cali Grill, but
It's fine, Jody.
between the heat, the humidity, the walking, you kind of work it all off real quick in between there. So yeah, it was all right.
Yeah. After that, we went over to Haunted Mansion. So here's where this was the only bummer, I think, is it said 13-minute wait in the app, which for Haunted Mansion means basically like it's a walk-on, right? That's just their fun way of.
Gene knows that. Don't you,
The
Gene?
what? Oh, Gene?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
Gene, yeah. Gene loves the Haunted
I don't know
Mansion,
much.
as everyone does.
I'm actually writing down all the things that Dee has done this weekend and not gone to Disney since 1997 that I have not ever done in all my trips. And I'm on a Disney podcast. So I'm just making a list.
Well, Gene, come with us because then we could have been like first timers together for.
I know, right? I know. I'm not jealous or anything at all.
It was pretty awesome overall. So after that, like we got in line for Haunted Mansion and the fireworks had ended, so the line grew pretty quickly, but it was only about a 30-minute wait. So we went on that and that was fun. But then we were starting to get tired because we'd been up since Dee picked me up at I think 3:30 in the morning Detroit time, and this was almost 10 o'clock. So of course I start looking at what bars are open, and we decided to go over to Wilderness Lodge. So we took the boat, which I thought was going to be really cool, right? Like, it's just a fun mode of transportation at night in Disney. You can see the Grand Floridian and the Poly. But we got stopped in the Seven Seas Lagoon because they were bringing the electrical light parade back in, which that was actually pretty cool. Like we got to see close up the barges go by with the little fencing that has all the lights in it. I mean, it really is like 1970s style technology. Some of the stars are even crooked and stuff. I'm just like, that gives it such character. I loved it.
Some burnt out bulbs and
yes. It was the funniest thing. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And so then we continued on to Wilderness Lodge and we went over to Geyser Point and we got a drink, and then because I want to fit everything in and show Dee the entire property. I'm like, all right, now we got to go over to. We went to check out the lobby and the Boulder Ridge lobby, which has my favorite place in the world, the Carrollwood Pacific Room. So yeah, so we did that. That was fun.
Yeah. It was a beautiful area. The area that we sat in the Wilderness Lodge, it was really pretty. We sat in these old chairs in front of a beautiful fireplace. It was really cool. Very nice vibes. It was cool. Yeah.
Yep. And then we took an Uber and went back to Pop Century, which is where we were staying. So that's how we ended the night, which was it was just awesome.
That is an action-packed day one.
Yeah. That's what, Jeff says he goes
Let me guess that they did 5 things that day that you've never done before. Am I
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, 6. I was so close.
Wow.
Lapu Lapu, Topolino's, Trader Sam's, Enchanted Rose Lounge, California Grill, Tron.
Wow. Never done Tron.
No.
We got to work on this. Next time we're there together, we're going.
Well, I mean, I just haven't been since it released, launched, whatever. Since its inaugural Troning.
Good Lord. Okay. All right. So yeah, so that was Friday.
Saturday.
Day 2.
No race for you all. Everybody else was running the 10K, but you all got to sleep in. Lucky you. Now, could you hear the race start from your hotel room? Could you hear the 3, 2, 1 go?
I was sleeping at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
No.
I just asked because when I stayed at the Riviera during marathon weekend, I only ran the half and the full, and on the 10K day, I could hear all the 3, 2, 1 goes. I'm the only person in my entire family who heard it. Everybody else slept through it, but I heard it all. So I was just curious if you could hear it at Pop.
No, we had a super busy day Friday, so Saturday was like we slept pretty good. I don't think we woke up until 6:30 maybe Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got up to make sure I had an alarm set to make sure that I could be on the system ready to go to get that Guardians of the Galaxy virtual queue. So the park was opening at 8:30. So we're like, all right, it's opening early. We'll get ready to go and we'll see what happens. So I get boarding group 1, which initially they said was going to be called at 9:13. Well, we got to the park at open. We were waiting to get in like as they opened the park at 8:30, and I'm like, all right, well, we have a ton of time. Everybody's going to Ratatouille or Frozen, so we go over and we did the land because we tried to do Figment. Now this is one of 2 times in my life I've ever been super angry at a Disney cast member. So they do the limited open at 8:30, right before the 9 o'clock full open.
You were there for pre-park opening for Disney Resort guests. Okay.
Yes. So we go over to Figment, Journey into the Imagination, and I'm like, great. Like, can we get on? He's like, oh no, we're not open till 9. And I'm like, the park's open. What's happening here? And he's no, it's only the major rides. And I'm like, excuse me, sir. You do not talk about my figgy like that.
You and Kevin. I mean, you would have been dropping Figment.
Right. So, okay. So then from there, we just kind of walked around and we're like, well, let's go see what's going on with like Soarin', because we had a Soarin' fast pass for 9 o'clock or whatever it was. So, we're we'll go over there and check it out. So as we're walking in there, we walked by the land and they're open early. They must be a major ride, which, I mean, to be honest, I love the land. And it was one of the things I was telling Dee I really wanted her to experience while we were there. So that worked out because we walked up. There was absolutely no wait. We were the first ones in the park to go on the ride, which was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we went over to Soarin'.
Rope dropping, living with the land.
Yeah. Right? That's what Disney professionals do, Jody.
Mm-hmm.
We do the important rides. Hey, do any of those other rides feed humans? Literally feed humans.
Did you get fed on that ride? Because I've never been fed on that ride.
No, but if you've ever eaten in the restaurants in Epcot, you've eaten food from Living with the Land.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Especially at Garden Wall.
Okay, so you went to Living with the Land, and then you went to Soarin'? You used your fast for your lightning lane for Soarin'.
Yeah, we used our lightning lane for Soarin'.
Okay.
Yep. So we were in Group C all the way over to the side, which I've never been over there. It was kind of cool. Now I know when everybody says the Eiffel Tower is curved, like they don't mean just like a slight curve. It looks like a backward
Oh,
C.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Dee, what were your thoughts on it? Because this was your first, probably I think your first time on that, right?
Yeah, for sure. It was very cool. It was an awesome experience. It was neat to see like all of the different areas and the way that they transitioned from like city to city or country or whatnot. It was really cool, and the way that they like infused the different scents in, and yeah, just all of it was really
Yeah.
cool.
It was so fun. I don't know.
I love this.
Yeah.
It's just it's so like perfect how I don't know how it just fits the scene. It's crazy. Okay, so after that we went over to Guardians because we had our virtual queue and we were boarding group 1, so we didn't really have to wait at all. It was just basically walk through all the cool stuff in the queue. And then we got into Guardians, which is this was only my second time on it. It's such an amazing ride.
What song did you get?
I ran. Now we're gonna have to pay a loyalty fee, or royalty fee. But yeah, exactly, Gene.
I don't know that they're gonna say that we sang the song in that much perfection that we're gonna have to pay the fee.
I mean, it's probably gonna get us several listeners, maybe even 4.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so Dee, did you have any expectation of what to at all what was gonna happen during this ride?
Not really. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. It's one of my favorite series of movies, whatever you want to say. But there was nothing that they didn't cover, really. I mean, it was just really cool how they incorporated like all the characters, and Groot gets right in the camera, is I am Groot, like right in your face and stuff like that. And Rocky, just all the characters, everything was like so well thought out and displayed, and it was a blast. It was a great time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that one. Okay,
Right next
now
to
the big, huge, important question. Did you get off of that ride and wash your hands?
No, I went to the bathroom too right after, and I still didn't. Just because it was a protest. I was gonna show Lonnie I'm stronger. Okay, no, yeah, I actually we did not wash our hands right after the ride, I don't think. But we did see Lonnie right after that ride.
Ah,
So we saw Lonnie and Sarah. They were in
Patient
boarding
zero.
group 2. Yeah, we're right.
was
Lonnie
patience.
probably got Sarah sick. Sarah and Lonnie together got us sick. It's spreading through the world. But no, so we met up with Lonnie and Sarah. So that was super cool because I'd never met Sarah in person. I only interacted with her like in the ducks and lizard groups, and then when she was on the podcast a couple of times. So that was pretty awesome. I was excited, and we went over to Test Track, which luckily because I work for GM, we didn't have to wait in line, which was pretty awesome. And then in between there somewhere, actually, I took Dee over to Club Cool, and I was like, "You gotta try the Beverly. It's the best one."
Dee.
And if she didn't break up with me after that, I think we're good for a while. But I drank it too, though. To be fair,
no, it was cool.
That's cruel and unusual punishment.
it's so bad. But then the other ones were so good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No,
So that was fun.
That one was pretty cool. Yeah, there was no like sugarcoating that or literally anything.
That's
But yeah, so after that, like we just went on a couple other rides, the Seas, and then we met Figment, which was really cool because he is now in the area right outside, in the Imagination Station area. So that was really neat. He gave me a big hug. So that was pretty exciting for me. But then, we also ate at a couple of the kitchens because the the Flower and Garden Festival is going on. So, it was like Dee mentioned earlier, it was so hot. It was like 93 degrees and humid, which is rough, right? Especially the day before a race. So we did stop at Florida Fresh, and I got the lobster tail. It was like a key lime lobster tail, with I also got a cucumber watermelon gin slushy, which was also delicious. But that lobster tail was absolutely amazing. I totally should have gotten another one. And Dee, you got like go ahead.
so glad to hear you say that because Lonnie and I listened to another podcast where one of the hosts had a really bad experience with lobster tail. Now it was opening day of the Flower and Garden Festival, so they could have been just
And worked out the kinks yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I
So,
avoided it.
Stop. I got to know more about what this is because key lime, lobster tail, it just does not compute for me. So tell me more.
I don't know. I mean, it went well
I'm
together,
open-minded,
right?
though.
It was a lobster tail, and it had like a key lime butter. And I mean, that's really about it, Gene. I can't explain food well. So
But was it good?
it was delicious. It
Okay.
was so good. Like I felt like the quality of the lobster was even like decent. It was good. Just good. And you
Okay.
got like a sandwich of some sort, right? Like a short rib sandwich?
Yeah, it was some like
Something?
pork belly something
Oh.
sandwich, which was really good. Yeah, it was on like a little croissant type thing. Yeah, it was good.
Yum.
And then we went to Northern Bloom and got the beef tips. So it was like beef tips and whipped potatoes and some mushrooms. So good.
In Canada, right?
Yeah, over in Canada. Yep, which also has the scallops, and I've gotten the scallops every other time I've been there, and I've really enjoyed them. But this time, the beef tips they were calling to me, and I couldn't resist. But after that, like we went on Spaceship Earth, and for sitting there inside and stuff for a little while, something about that just drained me of all energy, and I started feeling really sick, and just the heat it got to me. We had planned to stay in Epcot until like 6 or 7 because I know like our friend Neil was there, so we're gonna try to meet up with him, and then just a couple other things we wanted to do around the park, but I could not do it, so we went back to the hotel. And of course, me being me, I can't just go back to the hotel. So we're talking and we're like, all right, let's see what reservations are out there just for fun. And there happened to be a Toledo reservation at like 5:30 or something. So like, all right, we can go back to the hotel room, like just shower, change, whatever. We went to Toledo and I was already feeling way better. After that meal, I felt absolutely on top of the world. That was to me, I think, better than California Grill. It was, if not better than, just about equal to, but I would say for the value, Toledo is definitely a better value for a similar quality of food for about 2/3 of the cost overall. But man, we walked up there and just the view from up there is amazing. You can see all of Disney property. It's crazy. It's so neat. And it's in Grand Destino Tower at Coronado Springs.
And there's a tree inside the restaurant.
I didn't even notice that.
Yes. I think
Oh,
it's in the
wow.
picture you sent me.
Oh,
But
probably.
yes, there is a tree, a live tree in the middle of the restaurant,
Huh.
which is pretty fun.
oh, that's cool.
So yeah, and we were really paying attention to the ceiling because the discussion we had a couple weeks ago about whether the ceiling changes colors or not, and it definitely does, but it's hard to see because it's so slow. But no, our server Martha, she came over and asked us what we'd like to drink, and I wanted a glass of wine, but I don't know anything about Spanish wine. So she's like, "Well, what do you normally like?" So I tell her what I like, and she's like, "All right, here's the thing. Spanish wine is different. I'm going to bring you a couple of different things because why not? I love watching people do wine tastings, and we'll find you something you like." So she poured us about 3 half glasses of wine,
Wow.
and it was like a pretty solid amount of wine. If not a half glass, then a third, but enough where we both tried out of like had a good portion out of each one to try it. And they were just so good.
Wow.
Yeah. So
You had a
then,
great server there. Our server there was not great. You guys had a great one. I'm
oh,
glad though. That's awesome.
she was so fun. She was telling us about all the different wine regions in Spain and how how they differ from like Napa Valley in terms of the types of wine they make and all this type of thing. So she was like super knowledgeable. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that your first time in? Well, obviously, it was your first time in Grand Destino Tower. Jean, have you ever been in there?
I don't think so.
Okay. And so the tower is the
It's a good
new
bet that I haven't.
portion in Coronado. It's beautiful. I love it. I love it in there. And the downstairs is beautiful. The upstairs is beautiful. Okay. So what did you guys have for your meal?
So what was the first thing we got? It was called pan con tomato, but it was basically bruschetta.
Oh yeah, the like crushed tomatoes on the bread.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With
pan, that's bread, right?
oil was on it, and it was that was delicious. That was super, super.
And they were able to do it with gluten-free bread too.
Oh, wow.
So I thought it was amazing. I don't know. I would eat that as a whole meal. Just get 2 or 3 of those. And then we both got the filet again, kind of a theme. But no, they're same thing is at California Grill. I mean, I like my filet medium, and I don't like it any less than that. I don't like it any more than that. I'm very particular as I can be with certain things. But no, I thought it was cooked again just perfect. It had that nice like char crust on the outside and just perfect in the middle. It was so good. I wanted to order another one because Joe, you mentioned it on a previous show. I mean, I think it was $38 for the fillet, which to me, like you go to an Outback and that's the same price you're going to pay.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And the scallops are also phenomenal there. They're one of my favorite scallops on property.
Sorry, I got excited. I added a scallop. You have an option to add scallops to it, and for like 4 little scallops, I think that edition was only like $12. So, I mean, I found it so reasonable for the level of quality, service, and ambiance that you had. Honestly, I would say that I think that's the best value at Disney overall.
Yeah. Yeah. And they take TVC and AP discounts, which is also helpful.
Very helpful because it's not a cheap place, but it's like I said, it's not overly expensive either. I mean, it was you walk in there and you're like, holy moly, this is going to be $1 billion. But no,
I think
I
the thing
mean,
that would take that restaurant over the top is if they piped in the music from one of the fireworks, because you can see the fireworks from up there, but you can't hear anything. So, like Topolino for dinner, if you go out on the terrace, you can watch the Epcot fireworks and hear they pipe in the music. They don't
yeah,
do that at Toledo, but
yeah, and we were there in early evening, so it was still pretty light out. But I mean, it was great. The food was awesome. But then we went over to Dahlia Lounge, which is next to it. And another example of just things going right, there happened to be a table available when the whole restaurant or bar was packed. So
Wow.
that was pretty cool. And then I don't even remember what drink I got, but it was delicious.
I don't know. We took a picture of it. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
We,
Yeah. But no, it was good. And we didn't want to have too many drinks because we had a couple glasses of wine at dinner and that 1:30 a.m. wake up call the next morning for the race was going to be rough. So we went after that, we just went back to the hotel and just watched TV and fell asleep and we were ready to go the next morning.
all right. So Sunday fun day. It's a big race day. Now, this is a 10 miler. This is the only race series that has a 10 miler race. Everything else is 5K, 10K, half. What in the marathon weekend has marathon. So this is kind of special. It's the only one that offers a 10 miler. So what time did you all get up and what was that like?
We got up at 1:45.
Mhm.
And yeah, it wasn't bad. Honestly, I think because we went to bed so early, it was still almost a normal night of sleep. But yeah, we got up at 1:45. We left our room about 2:45 so we could get on one of the first couple of buses. Because I wanted to make sure we got over there and just found our way and found, we knew Lonnie and Sarah were there, wanted to meet up with actually 2 of my neighbors came down as well for the race, but they weren't staying at Disney property. So that was when we got to see them in the morning and hang out. So yeah, I mean, I think it worked out perfectly. Like there was no issues with getting on the bus and they didn't have the huge walk from the corrals to the start line. It was like all right there, which was way better than marathon weekend when you walk 26 miles before
They
you
didn't,
run 26 miles.
they didn't do that this year.
Oh, really? Oh, nice. Okay.
Marathon start was in the parking lot. You didn't walk through the whole thing like you've done in the past.
That's great.
So Dee, tell me what your thoughts were. This was your very first Run Disney race experience. It was you sit in the parking lot, there's DJs, there's people, there's chaos, there's costumes, there's this, there's that. What was going through your head? What did you think of it all?
I thought it was amazing. Like just the way that they have when you first get there, everything was so organized and everything. There was really no question. You just like, followed everything throughout the whole race, or even before the race, I should say. Like they had the DJ going, and they have like people up on stage hyping everybody up and explaining everything, and it was just really cool. And throughout the course of the race, there was the different characters They had a marching band, which is really cool because my kids are both in marching band, so I kind of like that. So they had like marching band along the side. They had another band that was playing that Happily Ever After song, which is really cool too. So it was cool, and they had like the mile signs off to the side. You know, we could stop and we try to take a picture at. I think the even numbers we did, right?
because we missed one. So
Really?
like, all right, only even. But yeah, no, that band playing Happily Ever After was amazing. It was like a
It was,
kid's garage band, like a punk garage
Oh.
band. It was so
that's
cool.
cool.
yeah, really cool.
What's the most memorable costume that you saw someone wear?
Oh gosh, there was so many. Like there was people that had like full face, um, like Simba face paint on with the actual like wig. I'm like, this dude has to be so hot. Like all that face paint and then the whole wig and the mane and the whole costume and everything. So that's pretty extravagant. But I mean, there was a lot of people with some pretty amazing costumes.
There was a few Kevins. There was a lot of Simbas though.
Yeah, some giraffes.
Oh yeah, a couple of giraffes. That was interesting because they had the tall like
Ah,
giraffe head thing on. I'm like, how I have enough trouble running as it is.
right.
What was
So,
Joe
yeah.
Fickus's costume?
Joe didn't go.
He didn't go?
Arrived. No. I was sad.
Sad.
Last time I rode Carousel of Progress was with Joe. Fun
Oh,
fact.
cool.
Yeah. Okay. So so the race was super fun. One of the things that I think is awesome about Run Disney is they have such great entertainment. Like Dee was mentioning all the bands and stuff, but then they also had that choir at the end when you're turning
I love
out of
that.
Epcot to kind of head to the parking lot. And I thought it's so cool to see them. So that was neat. And yeah, I mean, we had fun. We took our time. We just talked the whole time, and it was I don't know. I thought we did really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, and I was a little bit nervous. I didn't probably train for it as I should have. But yeah, it was awesome. It was a great experience, and John was a great coach the whole way through, so it was a lot of fun.
That's what all the
It
cool
was
people do, though, Dee. That is what all the cool people do. They
Yeah,
undertrain.
yeah.
we should go with it, right? I mean, just
Well, no, and so you've never ran more than a 5K in a race, right? And I think your longest run was like 6 or 7 miles. So this was your first time running a double-digit race, which I mean, I've done it multiple times and I still get like nervous and scared. And you seem you're like, yeah, we're gonna make it. It's fine. We'll get there.
Well, congratulations on your PR because that obviously was a PR for you.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
thank you. Yeah.
So that was awesome. And then we finished up.
Sorry, one more question about the race. Any characters on the course that were unique, or anybody that you were excited to see out there?
Oh gosh,
You saw Tinkerbell. You were excited about her.
Yes, Tinkerbell's kind of my fave. Yeah, so it was awesome to see her. Who was the other guy? The what's his name? Lotso from Toy
Oh yeah,
Story?
Lotso.
He was in there. But yeah, there was a lot. It was cool to see Mickey and Minnie at the finish line, though. That was awesome.
Yeah, and then we saw God, who was the other one that was really cool that I've never seen out there before? The guys from Onward. That was really neat because you don't really see them anywhere in the parks. So that was pretty cool. And then Abu was out. So that was fun from Aladdin.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was cool. We didn't stop for any of the characters. I'm one of those people like if I stop running, I stop running. So I can't wait in line for the characters. But no, it was really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like it was a great race. I heard it was really hot. Were you guys able to?
No. So honestly, the 10 mile, it started off humid in the morning. Like at the beginning of the race, it was really humid, but only like 65. By halfway through the race, we were talking to some of the people around us, and there was a cool breeze, and the humidity seemed like it was gone. I mean, it turned into the perfect running weather.
Oh, that's great.
Especially for a Disney race in April.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but we were talking to some other people who ran the 5 and 10Ks, and they said it was like the one dude said he had more of a struggle with the 5K than he did with the 10 mile because of the weather.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So
sprinkled in there for us. So
Yeah. Yeah. Just the pixie dust.
yeah.
Sounds awesome.
It's a precursor.
Okay, so you finish the race, you take all your pictures, your I did it photos, and you get your medal, you get your plastic cheese. And then what?
So then we head back to the hotel to get ready to head out to the parks. I mean, we're at Disney. We're not wasting time. So we get back to the hotel and the mousekeeping was there. So we had to wait like I think it was like 5 or 10 minutes outside for them to finish up. But then we get in there, get changed and everything, and we head out to Hollywood Studios. So we got the lightning lane, of course, or the Genie Plus. So our first lightning lane that we booked was Slinky Dog because I'm like, your first time at Disney, this is one of the best rides here. We have to go on this. So we got that. And then, we're like, well, what are we going to do now? We have time. We're starving because we just ran 10 miles. Check the app and there just happens to be an 11:30 a.m. 50s primetime cafe open. So I booked that and we walk over there and at 10:45 when they open, we asked like, hey, can we, you got anything available now? Our reservations in 45 minutes. And she's like, yeah, we'll take you. So we stop and we get a drink
Man.
from Dad's Tune-In Lounge. And it was an amazing espresso or a cold brew martini. And then they take us over to our seat. It was
Your friends, John.
Amazing.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
There you go. I filled in your words for you.
John was frozen.
oh
No, it was fun. Yeah.
Jean, have you eaten at 50s prime time before?
Multiple times, yes.
Okay, so you can't add that to your list.
So Joey, our server, actually fed me a carrot at one point during our meal. Yep. I thought he was I didn't think he was. He's like, Mom wants you to eat all your vegetables. He grabs my fork, picks up the carrot that's left because obviously I ate all the meatloaf, all the pot roast, and all the fried chicken. So he picks that up and he's like, the airplane's coming in. So I'm like, where does the joke end? And I'm just finally like, well, okay.
You weren't going to blame first, were you?
No, and I didn't. And I don't know if he expected me to or not, but I ate that carrot. So.
Oh, that's awesome. I love
So
it.
he was fun. He was just like messing with us the whole time, and yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, John even got a sticker for cleaning his plate. Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what I do. I clean my plate.
Yeah.
All right. So then from there, so we had our individual lightning lane, but then we were able to get one for Tower of Terror because of the time. So it hit 11 a.m. We got Tower of Terror. So that was cool. So we were able to do that, which D, you seemed like you were a little nervous going in. What'd you think?
Yeah, I was definitely a little nervous. I'm not one for height. And I get sick pretty easily with motion. But it was awesome though. The drop and like I thought that it was just like going straight, like you just go up kind of, and there's a story along the way and all that good stuff. And then they just kind of, like drop you unexpectedly. I didn't realize that there was like, you go through a little ride or whatever and they tell a little story and then like there was multiple drops in there. So that was unexpected, but it was pretty awesome. I had John on one side of me and then I had a woman and her daughter on the other side of me. And, John's like, oh, just wait. And then I've got this other lady who is really sweet and her daughter was really sweet too. And so like, oh, you're in for a treat. Just make sure you hold on tight, like totally egging it up and everything. And, but yeah, it was cool. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it was neat. And then, so we also had a reservation for Oga's Cantina, which we'd never been to before. So it was really cool. But the only thing that was weird, I didn't realize it was like communal seating. Like where you just sit with other random people. It was fine, but we didn't really talk to them much because they didn't seem interested in talking to us. And
yeah, that's hit or miss. You either get with really fun people and you have
Yeah.
a great conversation, or else you get with people who don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, but the drinks were great.
I
The
learned
atmosphere is
something
amazing.
I didn't ever know the other day is that the drinks there are all pre-made. They're not made fresh.
Well, that takes away some, especially given the price point.
So
But no, they were good though. Like I got a Jello thing that had Pop Rocks in it. And boba. That was really good. Yeah, so good. But then we got to pilot Smuggler's Run, which I had never done. So that was really cool. And I'm sitting there like, I'm flying. I got the up and down. Dee's got left and right. So I'm like, you gotta go left. You gotta go left. And she's like, I'm trying to. So it was fun because we just enjoyed it. I don't know.
Whole ride depends on us. We have
Yeah. I did tell you that as soon as they told us we were pilots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't do this well, this ride's gonna suck for all these people.
I know.
One of them's a little kid. So yeah. So then after that, it was time to head over to Magic Kingdom. So we were going over to Magic Kingdom mainly because we had the fireworks dessert party that night. So I didn't think we were going to do a whole lot more at Magic Kingdom. But I got a text from Sarah that she was trying to get into the dessert party, and they said that like if I came over there, and since we were linked on the My Disney Experience app or whatever, that they could add her to our reservation. So I'm like, oh, sweet. Okay. So we went over there and we went into town hall and got that. They were added her right away. I mean, it literally took like 3 minutes. So that was pretty awesome. Yeah. So a little tip, like if you want to go to a sold out hard ticket event,
Find a friend.
Find a friend, but talk to guest services. She was like really trying to find a way to get Sarah into this event because she knew we were like wanted to hang out and stuff. So that was really cool. But then we also, when we walked out of there, they were doing the flag retreat. So, when they take the flag down in the evening, they have a team.
Do you want to tell us?
Pick a veteran from the park for the day to. Did I freeze?
You did. Yeah. We got flag retreat and that was it. So.
Bummer. So the flag retreat, they play taps and they bring the flag down and they pick a veteran from the park for that day to help them with the whole ceremony of it and everything. And then they sing God Bless America. So that was really cool. And they had the Dapper Dans out there. It was just really neat and something I didn't even know happened. So that was really cool. But then after that, Dee, what'd we do?
What did we do? Oh my!
We went to the one thing you wanted to do this trip. I think it was the only thing you were like, we have to do this. Do you remember going to the store that Jody told us about?
Oh yeah, we got pixie dusted.
Yes.
It was so awesome.
Yeah. So it was cool. Like we walked in.
Better than Sarah and I did. I don't know how that happened. Yeah. Maybe I don't know. But
luck.
Yeah, I guess so. But it was awesome.
So tell everybody how that worked for you.
We really we walked into you walked through the castle and then there was the little boutique over to the side and there was literally just some people standing over there or whatever. We just John went up and asked if we could get pixie dusted and they said absolutely, come on over here. And she got her magic wand and she did her little spell and yeah, it was cool.
It was really, she was like, think of a wish and think about it real tight. And and then she shook her glitter on us and it was like really, I don't know, it was fun. It was cute. I would definitely do it again.
Oh, for sure.
It's just a little something extra that it's free. It's just there, but it's it's fun to do. It's really glad you guys did it.
It's cute. Yeah.
Yeah. So then we actually got in on Big Thunder, Pirates of the Caribbean, and we had an individual lightning lane for Tron all before the dessert party. So we had an amazing day, I think, between the two parks.
Wow.
But then so then we go to the dessert party. Now, this is, I don't like people enough to be shoulder to shoulder with people for 3 hours, but also Happily Ever After is like one of my favorite things in the universe. So every trip I try to get at least one of the dessert parties. And what that does, it's a hard ticket event that you have to buy a ticket to, but you get into this party either before or after the fireworks, and they have like desserts out, but they also have, some savory stuff like cheeses and crackers, a lot of really good drinks, non-alcoholic ones with like pog juice and strawberry lime or strawberry lemonade. But then they also have beer and wine. So I think it's a pretty good value, but the thing to me that makes it worth it is you get a perfect viewing spot in the hub in that little fake grass area, kind of back behind the partner or between the partner statues or between the castle and Main Street. There's the partner statue, right? So you're kind of right in front of that. So it's like a perfect viewing area, and it wasn't crowded at all in there. Some nights, I think they oversell the tickets, but it was great. We found a perfect spot, and yeah, we got to watch the most amazing show ever invented.
Yeah.
What
What'd
did you
you
think
think
of
of
the
it, Dee?
fireworks show, Dee?
It was very cool. The way that they display everything on the castle and just all of the lights and the colors and the way that everything is just so spot on with all the characters and just these little tiny space. They're not, but from you view it, I mean, you see Woody on the castle and what looks like this tiny little space, and Cinderella and just all these different characters displayed on the castle, and the way that they change everything and the theme and the music, everything was just awesome. And then to see what was my favorite part close to was Tinkerbell flying away at the end was very awesome, and she did have her wand, so
Yeah. There was a argument we got in on the trip was whether Tinkerbell has a wand or not. I was adamant that she does not. It turns out I don't know Disney well enough because she has a
Dee,
wand.
welcome to being the expert on the podcast.
It's not hard with this group. Well,
but I
beat
know
Jody out is
Yep.
difficult.
No, Jeff. Normally, Jeff is the one who knows everything.
And he'll tell you. Right, Jeff? All right. So yeah, so then that was kind of the end of our night. After that, we had been up since 1:30 in the morning, and this was 9:30 at night. So we started heading back. But we got out there. They had 3 buses lined up for Pop Century. So there was a lot of people in line. They filled up the first one. We were like one of the first people on the second bus, and there was another one right behind that. So it seemed like they were doing a really good job of moving people out. Because I thought we weren't going to get back to our hotel until 11 or so. I think we were back in our room by 10:15. We stopped at the gift shop. We got some drinks. So if you want to buy like wine, or they have like pints of liquor, that type of thing, you can buy that in the gift shops at the hotels, which is nice because if you don't want to spend the time and the money and everything else to go out to a bar, I mean, we were pretty beat, so we just want to watch TV and have a couple of drinks. So while we packed and everything, so that worked out perfect. And then we get back in the room, and that was our Sunday night. So yeah, so that was pretty much the end of our trip. We woke up Monday, and oh no, we actually did have fun Monday because we went to the Polynesian. Oh wait, first we went to the Contemporary. So we took an Uber with our bags and everything to the Contemporary, left our bags with Bell Services, and then we had a Steakhouse 71 reservation. They got us in an hour early for that, which was amazing. Right? We had an 11:30 reservation, and we got there about 10:30, and I was like, well, we can do some shopping. We can go over to
You
Polly.
must have naked pictures of Walt or something.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Bob
I got
Iger,
Walt's
whoever
frozen
it
head
is.
in my freezer, and I told him
Right.
to thaw it out.
Man, geez, you're just
Yeah.
getting all the treatment.
Maybe
man.
because
Awesome.
you were a 2-top and not a
I think
4 or
so.
6 or 8 or a 10. Like
Yeah.
we always eat in
You
big
wore
groups.
a tube top? That's why.
I did, yeah. That's why we got
That's
in.
why. That's
Because
why.
the waiter was like, this guy,
Yeah.
we need to get him in. But no, so we got in right away, which was amazing because that gave us a lot of time after. But I also got my eggs Benedict, and my Mickey waffles. I hadn't had Mickey waffles this whole trip. I miss them so much, and I love them. But it was also Dee's
they're able
first
to make them gluten-free for you.
Yeah.
That's really sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, and you got the steak and eggs, right?
I did. I had those again. And I also had the Mickey waffles for the first time ever, which were delicious. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, so good. So then we left there, and we took the monorail over to Polly. Wanted to go like to the store, get some things for all of our kids and that kind of stuff. And then finally went out and had a Dole Whip. I mean, it was like 12 degrees out though. I was freezing, but I wasn't gonna not have a Dole Whip. It was so cold. It was in the mid 60s, and it was overcast. And I left my sweatshirt in my backpack, which was at the Poly or at Contemporary. So we were a little cold, but like you can't miss the chance to have someone's first Dole Whip with them, right? So had to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, the things we do, really sacrificed there having a Dole Whip for. So what were your thoughts on it?
It was excellent. We got the pineapple with the vanilla, the little swirl, and it was really good.
Yeah.
And I've never been to the Poly that I remember, at least anyways. If I had been, it was when I went for the first time with my family when I was really, really young. So it was really cool. It was neat to see the property and bungalows over the water and the beach, just everything that they have to offer there. It was really neat. So
Yeah. I almost talked myself into buying a bunch of poly points while we were there from DVC because that new tower is going up and it looks like it's going to have a lot of rooms. So I don't know how I feel about it, like with in terms of like integrating into the background and everything, but I think it's going to be an awesome option. So yeah. And then from there we went back to Contemporary, got our bags, and then went to the airport and came home.
hmm
Yeah.
Sounds like an amazing trip.
It was Jody
Really?
was awesome. Everything went perfectly well.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing.
Would you do a Run Disney race weekend again, Dee?
Oh, 100%. I can totally see why people get addicted and hooked on them for sure.
She was already checking for 10K availability for marathon weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Got my eyes open.
yeah. So yeah, you might be seeing D again out on the course, which would be awesome.
That's
Yeah.
exciting.
For
Yeah.
sure. It was very cool. Yeah.
So yeah.
Did
So
you keep
all
a
right.
tally of how many things Dee has done that you have not, other than the 6
I-
that one day?
I just quit because it just got depressing. You know.
Yeah. Well, Gene, come with me one time, and I will give you all of these experiences as well. I think it'll be fun. It'll be a good time.
Well, it sounds like it was awesome. I'm so glad you guys had that opportunity, and I love race weekends. They're my favorite. So
Yeah.
sounds like it was a good one.
It was amazing, Jody. So yeah, so now that everybody kind of got perspective of somebody who's a seasoned Disney person like me, and then someone who hasn't been in a couple of decades, so like anybody can go to a Run Disney event and have fun. I mean, I think Dee now is a huge Disney fan, but as somebody who hasn't been recently and that type of thing, it was really cool to see how you experienced it, and
Yeah.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
I had put a lot of stress on myself because I'm like, I have to make this trip like perfect for her. So yeah,
Well,
I think you got a lot of Disney magic. You got a lot of help.
For sure.
yeah, and we
It doesn't
just
always
did
work out like that.
right. I mean, it was amazing.
Mhm.
And yeah, and like I said, I mean, we just being two of us too, we could bounce around more and that type of thing too, which is nice. So yeah, so we talked a lot about Run Disney and our trip, but now we just want to make people giggle, right? So we're gonna quack up with the ducks, and we're gonna let our guest have the honor of going first. So Dee,
Ooh.
what do you got for us?
pressure's on. So when we were down there and we saw Donald and he was shaking his tail feathers, I kind of wondered, like, why do ducks have tail feathers?
I don't know why.
To cover their butt quacks, of course.
D, you're a natural. You are a natural. A
This is
natural.
what, yeah. Now you can see what I see in her.
Mhm.
Be
A natural.
Yeah.
Wait, you have a dad joke. I'm like, what? So yeah,
Yeah.
my joke.
I wanted you to be prepared. Jody, are you prepared with a joke for us tonight?
Yeah. So, we're talking about spring and flowers and planting, and I'm getting in that season where we're going to be spending a lot of time outside. And we were at the local nursery, kind of looking through some plants, and I was like, "Oh, Tim, look, here's some potting soil. It's on sale. It's dirt cheap."
Yeah,
Oh,
it is.
man.
Yep.
I was just thinking about, we talked earlier, like we went on Guardians of the Galaxy when we were at Disney, and that was pretty intense. You know what else is really intense?
What's that?
Camping.
Yeah, it is.
Camping is intense. All
Mm.
right, Gene. Anything fun going on in your life, man?
No, this is not fun. My wife, I mean, I don't even understand what she's thinking. She switched all the labels of all the spices in the spice cabinet. I haven't confronted her yet, but the time is cumin.
Oh boy. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening to us tonight. Dee, thank you for joining us and for
Yes,
joining
thank you.
me on an awesome race weekend. And with that, we just want to ask everybody one more time, go out and give us a 5-star review, please, and share the show with your friends and join our Disney with the Ducks group. We'd love to hear from anybody who was at the Springtime Surprise Race weekend, what you thought about it. And yeah, other than that, the only thing other thing I have to say is Kwaherini.
As we wrap up this magical journey through the Disney World Hakuna Matata Springtime Surprise Race weekend, a final word of whimsical warning. Be prepared for post-race euphoria, which may result in excessive high fives, victory dances, and boasts about conquering imaginary dragons along the race route. Extended exposure to Disney magic may lead to spontaneous renditions of Hakuna Matata or a whole new world at unexpected moments. Caution, nostalgia overload can trigger impromptu Disney movie screenings and fervent discussions about favorite character costumes spotted during the race. Side effects may include a strong desire to sign up for the next Disney race weekend, rearrange your schedule to accommodate more Disney adventures, and create elaborate race-themed costumes for future events. As you bid farewell to this race weekend recap, remember to cherish the memories, keep the Disney spirit alive, and always believe in the magic of dreams come true.
Wow.
Thank you, Jean.
That was excellent. You're so good at that. All right. So thank you, everybody. Good night.
Bye,
Good
friends.
night.
Good night. Bye.
John, is that Jean's butt crack?
Wouldn't that be great?
Oh, it's your thumb. It looked like a butt crack.
It kind of did.
I want to be honest here.